Hello. Howdy. Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Turn to story. Yes. Sorry, I'm just turning out the live stream. Alright. Oh, another thing. You guys can't tell because I'm not using a webcam, but I'm actually playing this game with a Pokemon stylus that I got when Diamond and Pearl came out. You guys remember when you guys remember that Diamond and Pearl had a pre-order bonus and you get a stylus that matches their respective game? You know, a Dialga stylus or a Palkia stylus. I actually have a few of them. December 21st, Sunday morning. I wake up suddenly again. I'm using the Dialga stylus for this, actually. One thing that I'm a little worried about is that it's a little on the top-heavy side because of the way I'm holding my, my handheld console. But I don't think it should be a problem. As soon as I open my eyes, I can hear my mom's voice echoing in my head. Last night on the phone, she said, "Scarlet Star?" No, I never heard your father say that. Still half asleep, I get out of bed, wash my face, and throw on some clothes. I've had some mornings like that actually before going to work. Not recently, but like a couple of years ago when I used to get up at like 5 in the morning to go to work. I decided to take a stroll to a small park I know 2 blocks from here. The chill air that breezes past me as I sit on the cold bench is kind of refreshing. Ah, man, I remember this. It's like one of the only times he actually goes outside or takes a moment to go outside. Because, for the most part, you're basically going around in the apartment Cape West building, never outside. It definitely helps to wake me up a little more. Item. Locate the Scarlet Star, which disappeared at Hotel Cape West 25 years ago. No matter how hard I try, I just can't get that mysterious order sheet out of my head. I think it's about time I checked out the 4th floor. Mr. Hyde! Hold it right there! Hmm? Oh, it's Betty. Betty? Are you ignoring me, Mr. Hyde? I was walking behind you for ages. Damn, Call Hyde's got a stalker. I tried calling you out to you several times, but you wouldn't even turn around. Sorry, my mind was elsewhere. Looks like you're not as alert as you used to be, Kyle. Some of those police instincts are starting to, dull. Maybe there was some truth in what Rex said after all. So, have you found a new place to live yet? Haven't even started looking. You're taking it very easy for someone who will be out of the streets shortly. How about you? When do you plan on moving out? I'm all set to go on Friday. I'll be here for Christmas, though. After all, I wouldn't want to miss Santa now, would I? If I moved away before that, how would he know where to deliver all my presents? You kidding me? Tony's such a nice guy. He said he'd be my Santa this year. He what? I know. Isn't it great? He even said he'd get me the Bella Regina handbag I've been dreaming about. That sounds like a designer bag. Bella Regina? It's a person or something? Come on, Mr. Hyde. Everyone knows Bella Regina. It's the brand that's taking the world by storm. Clothes, handbags, that brand has everything a girl could want. The prices are a bit high, but it's also gorgeous. Can you seriously think Tony's gonna come through and get this for you? Sure. He keeps saying how he's going to be getting some serious cash any day now. Serious cash? Him. After seeing the movie last night, he asked me what I wanted for Christmas. I thought it would be rude not to accept his offer to get me something. So Tony's a sugar daddy now, huh? A poor one. I hope you know what you're getting yourself into, Betty. He set his sights on you. You should lead him, you shouldn't lead him on if you don't care about him. You don't have to worry about me, Mr. Hyde. Tony knows all too well that he's not my type. Oh, did you hear the news? About the jewelry robbery that happened nearby? Yeah, I heard. It happened at the jeweler's very near where I work. I couldn't believe it when I heard. That reminds me. I wonder who that woman in the hat was. Maybe she was paying a visit to one of the tenants here. Hey Betty, did you see a woman wearing a hat hanging around on Thursday night? She might have been visiting somewhere living here. A woman wearing a hat? Can't say I did. Sorry. Never mind then. That's just one mystery that'll be made clear soon, though. Okay, see you later, Mr. Hyde. Betty says goodbye and makes her way up the stairs. You know this Pokemon stylus that I'm holding? I know there's a Pokemon Art Academy video game on the 3DS. Imagine if I livestream that one day. I'd be playing a video game and showcasing some drawing skills at the same time. I'll have to think about it. I mean, if I wanted to draw, I'd be like... Let me see here. Oh, don't move, Kyle Hyde. I'm trying to sketch ya. Something like this, you know, get the basic anatomy out. Oh, it's not a half bad start, especially for a small screen anyway. And then you get the arrow like this, some shading. I mean, I'm not putting a lot of detail into this, I'm just like showing this as an example. There is a point in this game where I actually do have to draw, though. Spoilers. I need to draw more, personally. Huh? Greetings, Mr. Hyde. Good morning, Mrs. Patras. Have you been out? Yeah, just went for a short stroll. Really? Is that so? I'm glad I caught you. I wanted to thank you again for settling your rent. It may not have been as prompt as desired, but at least I got the money in full. If only some of the others could follow your example and do the same. Miss Riveton 206, for example, she called to ask if I would wait a little longer. And Mr. Wolf, well, he's performed his usual disappearing act. I mean, this is the busiest I've ever been since coming here. And having unreliable tenants is a burden I'd rather not have to bear. Yeah, I imagine it's a pain. It certainly is, Mr. Hyde. Oh, by the way, there's something I have to mention. What is it? Before we vacate the building, we'll be cutting power to rooms that aren't in use. The 4th floor is scheduled first. It will have no power as of the 25th. The power to the hallway will be off too, and I'd like you to refrain from going there. That's a warning. Just like Dunning in Hotel Dusk. Mrs. Patras, can I ask you something? That depends. What's it about? Would it be possible to see the rooms up there before the power is cut off? And why would you want to do that, Mr. Hyde? Do you have a valid reason? Not really. Just wanted to satisfy my curiosity. There really is nothing of interest up there. It was never renovated like the other floors, so it's just as it used to be. Ah. Remember, this place used to be a hotel, so... I imagine that by now, the rooms are literally covered in dust as well. Surely there's no reason why you need to go and see those rooms. Actually, I've been wanting to take a look around up there since moving in. When I heard we'd all be moving out, I just thought this would be my last chance. I know it must sound strange, but I'd really like to take a look around. Would you make an exception, just this once? I'm sorry, Mr. Hyde. That area is off limits for a reason. Yeah. It's in a state of disrepair, and if an accident were to befall you, be responsible. Don't cause any unnecessary trouble for me. I have enough to deal with as it is. Yes, of course you do. In fact, I'd be grateful if you could avoid mentioning this again. The 4th floor is strictly off limits to tenants. That's one of the reasons the fire door was installed. Actually, I've been told rather specifically to leave that floor untouched. The new owners were quite clear about their wishes. Wait, wasn't this place gonna get... Hang on. Personally, I find it ridiculous. Why would you want to see those rooms at all? Okay, point taken. Just keeping them off limits takes more effort than you may think. It would have been far more practical to have converted them along with the rest. That's true. What kind of person is the new owner? Without divulging any particulars, let me tell you this. They weren't only interested in the building, but in the land as well. Can you tell me who bought it? For obvious reasons, I can't reveal that person's name. But why are you so keen to know about them, Mr. Hyde? I've been thinking about the whole thing. Why is it so important to you? The new owner asks you to leave the 4th floor as it is. But if they're only going to tear the place down anyway... Yeah, exactly, that's what I was thinking. Well, something doesn't feel right about that, so I was curious. I see. It may be strange, but it's entirely up to them what they do with their property. True. Why was the 4th floor not converted? I simply couldn't afford it. After my husband passed away, I was left to fend for myself. How easy is it for a landlord to make money? I mean, I've heard with the whole rent strike that's been going around because of the COVID-19 over the last month or two. I imagine it's difficult for even them. I had to use all the money that had been left to me to buy this place. There simply wasn't enough to convert each and every room. If the truth be known, times were very tough here at the beginning. I apologize for taking up so much of your time with our chat, Mr. Hyde. I'll be on my way now. But those 4th floors are extremely important. Mags returns to her room. So the 4th floor is just as it was 13 years ago. Mr. Hyde! Huh? Oh, it's you. Can I ask you something? You'd better not be wasting my time. You want to see what's up on the 4th floor, right? I can show you. But you've got to promise me you won't breathe a word of it to Mrs. Patras. Were you eavesdropping just now? I wasn't eavesdropping. I just happened to overhear your conversation. Yeah, that's what eavesdropping is, dumbass. Anyway, if you really want to take a look around up on the 4th floor, I can open the fire door for you and let you in. On one condition, though. What's the catch? I want to hear about that guy. Could you be a little more specific? Rex Foster. I want you to tell me about him. And I thought I was the curious type. He always seems to be sticking his nose in business that doesn't really concern him, huh? That automatically should make him untrustworthy. I'm not an information service, you know. What do you want to know about him? Why? Because I'm curious, that's all. He's been snooping around here for 2 or 3 days now. He even asked me for some information about a 2nd floor resident. Dylan! I thought I warned you to steer clear of him. He's bad news. Mr. Hyde, if he's such bad news, why did you speak with him in the lobby last night? How did he... So you were listening in, then too, were you? No, I was just in the right place at the right time. Yeah, right. I was coming down the stairs and heard voices in the lobby. So you managed to discover that he's an insurance investigator, then? What if I did? And you also figured out that he's been targeting a woman living here. Maybe. You don't have to cover it up. I know what's going on. It's Mary from 206. That's who he's after. I'm right, aren't I? You can tell me. I don't think I should. Looks like I'm out of luck. I thought you'd at least share a little info on Mary. So you were fishing for information. You got me. I was onto you from the beginning. If you think I can be sweet-talked into giving up information, think again. Easy to see why you were a detective. Dylan, just drop it. But Mr. Hyde, what could you possibly want with this kind of information? Is there a reason why you're so keen on hearing about Mary? I just wanted to make sure. You know, check if my assumptions were correct. And what exactly are your assumptions? For one, that Mary isn't the person everyone thinks she is. There's something you should know, Mr. Hyde. I knew Mary before she moved in here. You know, for someone who wants information out of me, he sure is giving me a lot of it. That's why I'm curious about her activities. But he doesn't say why. How did you know her before moving in here? It's like this. When her husband was still alive, I did some repair work on the water pipes in the house they used to live in. That's convenient. Seems she doesn't remember me at all, though. My suspicions were raised even way back then. I had a strange feeling about her. I'm trying to picture if I've seen Dylan's face somewhere before. He looks like a fat Pro Jared, doesn't he? You know, Pro Jared, the dude who, well, to make a long story short, the YouTube drama is over, and I think he's bouncing back. Can't say the same about some evil Smash players. What do you mean? You see, she and her husband had a really bad relationship. When I was fixing the pipes, they were quarreling almost all the time. Then 6 months later, her husband winds up dead. That's about the time the insurance company began looking into her. I'm almost afraid to say it, but... Oh, we got a Tiger King Carol Baskin situation here. I think that Mary may have had her husband murdered to claim the insurance money. God dang Carol Baskin, bitch. Oh man, I gotta rewatch that documentary again. I think it'll be my 4th time, maybe my 5th. Of course, to be honest, I do watch the last episode more often than all the other ones. So that's what you've been thinking about? Like, honestly, I could just listen to it in the background while I'm doing some drawing or editing a video, but if I edit a video, then I should have the volume down. Yeah. You seem to be the kind of guy who likes to unravel mysteries. Do I? That explains why you were, excited when you discovered I was a detective. Then when you got wind of Mary's husband dying, you jumped to the conclusion that she must have murdered him in order to claim the insurance money. It's true. I love this kind of thing. You have to admit it's fun to uncover a secret about somebody. I got no comment for that, actually. If you come with me, Mr. Hyde, I'll let you take a look around the 4th floor. If you're serious about wanting to check out those rooms, meet me up there at 4 this afternoon. Okay, I've got things to do. Damn, he's thick. That guy has some serious problems, but I don't want to miss I don't want to miss this chance. Gotta get myself up to the 4th floor by 4. 4th floor, 4th, whatever. It's my pager. Oh, Jesus, finally some color. Look at that red dot. I better get back to my room. Hang on. If I recall correctly, there was an item I had to acquire here. Actually, no. Not just yet. Oh, what if it's in here? Oh. A ruler set with a ruler, a protractor, and a couple of triangles. Okay, I'm getting a little ahead of myself then. Time to call Rachel. The line on my phone, on my answer phone is lit. I hear a man's voice on the tape. I don't recognize him. If you wish to accept my order, then respond in kind. Who is this guy? Put a penny in the envelope and leave it in the mailbox for room 404. When I receive your response, I will send further information about the item and the client. This tape will now self-destruct in 10 seconds. So now I'm supposed to reply to that order sheet. Who sent the damn thing anyway? I really gotta figure that out. There goes my pager again. I get the message, Rachel. I get the message, Rachel. I'll give you a call. Red Crown, how may I help you? Rachel, it's me. Something's up? I got some additional info on Rex Foster that I thought you'd like to hear. I also uncovered something about Hotel Cape West. Good work. What's the dirt on Rex? I've made some calls, and it seems his reputation precedes him. He's definitely freelance. Plus, I found out he's contracted on a commission basis. Commission basis? Yes. Seems he makes all his money doing this kind of work. The rumors about him getting brought in to investigate insurance claims, and the insurers ending up not having to issue payout to the policyholders are also true. Guess the insurance companies must love the guy then. From their point of view, he represents a very valuable commodity. Paying him for his services costs them far less than settling the policy payouts. Yeah, especially if fraud is in play, so that makes sense. Because think about it, if you have car insurance, how easy would it be for you to fake an accident? Hey Kyle, is Rex after someone in the building? Seems to be. You know anything about them? It's a woman on the same floor as me, going by the name Mary Rivet. Mary? So it's a woman he's after. Yeah, a 30-something widow. A 30-something widow who moved here about a half a year ago. So, are you close to her? Not really. I've hardly even spoken to her until now. I did have a chat with her about Rex Foster, though. Him hanging around all the time has really put her on edge. Seems strange you're having these kinds of discussions with people you hardly know. Trust me, I never planned on getting involved. It just kind of happened. That happens a lot to Kyle Hyde, honestly. Guess you know what you're doing. Can't say I trust her, though. Right. Okay. Tell me what you dug up about Hotel Cape West. Hotel Cape West was constructed in 1950 and eventually closed down 13 years ago, in 1967. The owner of the hotel at the time was a guy called Michael McGrath. Then, on the final day before the hotel closed down, a party was held by the owner. It was during this party that something terrible happened. Somebody was murdered. What do you know about the murder? The victim was Kathy McGrath, the owner's wife. Her body was discovered in a room on the 4th floor. Oof. Seems the cause of death was put down to cyanide poisoning. The person who discovered the body was a man named Peter Rivets, a hotel employee. Peter Rivets? That's the same surname as Mary. Perhaps the most interesting part of all this is that the case was never solved. And the murderer never caught. That's all I have on it for now. Did you find any dirt on anything that happened 25 years ago? 25 years ago? Yeah, that mysterious order sheet I received read, Item, locate the Scarlet Star, which disappeared at Hotel Cape West 25 years ago. No, I didn't find anything on that, but I'll start searching. I'll let you know as soon as something pops up. I'll be waiting. So the murder 13 years ago took place on the 4th floor of this building. And the person who discovered the body was an employee of the hotel. Sounds too convenient, but could it have been Mary's late husband? Something Dylan said has got me thinking too. Maybe Mary is hiding something. If she is, I need to know exactly what it is. I guess we're gonna interrogate her then, huh? We need to know more information about her. What is it, Mr. Hyde? I think I know something about the bugging device we discussed. Probably a good idea if we talked about it. Of course. Please come in. Mary, I found out that the device you spotted is part of Rex's handiwork. Just as I suspected. To make matters worse, this wasn't the only one he'd planted. There was another device in Lucky's cafe, near the seat you usually sit in. Oh my. Why would he do something like that? What possible reason could he have? Mary, I need you to be absolutely honest with me. If you can think of a reason why he'd be after you, you have to let me know. Just what are you implying, Mr. Hyde? That I'm some sort of liar? I just need to be sure. Do you have any ideas? Can you think why he'd target you like this? I don't know why you insist on asking me the same thing over and over. I have no idea. I'm asking because I want you to tell me the truth. Mr. Hyde, someone told me that you and your late husband weren't on the best of terms. Who? I think you're hiding something, Mary, and I think it's time you came clean. I had an interesting chat with Rex last night. You were talking with him? Yeah. I tried to get him to stop pestering you and leave. Did you succeed? Not quite. But he told me some really interesting bits of information. Actually, he warned me about getting tied up in your business. What on earth did he mean by that? He seems to be convinced that you're perpetrating some kind of insurance fraud. Fraud? So tell me, did you know that he works as an insurance claims investigator? Mr. Hyde, And if you did know, why the hell didn't you mention it earlier? It would have saved a lot of time and trouble. Mary, Is there any truth in what Rex told me? Well, is there? Mary. Look at me! Look me in the eyes. Damn it, look me in the eyes when I'm speaking to you. Mr. Hyde, please. Tell me what that alpha man said to you. Let me be clear. I don't trust the guy and sure as hell don't believe his story entirely. But I need to get a better idea of the facts from your perspective. I'm sure that Kyle Hyde is just another day in the job when he used to be a detective. I need to know more about when your husband and brother died. Mr. Hyde, please. I'm not trying to commit fraud. Rex told me all about you, Mary. He told me how 13 years ago, after your brother died in the accident, you became the sole beneficiary of the insurance policy payouts. Seems the insurance company started getting suspicious from that point. That's a total lie. Mary. I don't think you're telling me the truth. Shoot. Why won't you believe me? If you tell me the whole story, maybe I will. I'll ask you again. If it was a question, I'd be concerned, but not when I'm actually trying to get information. Is Rex making this all up? Of course he is. Do you mean to say that you take his version of events over mine, Mr. Hyde? He is employed by those companies purely to discredit claims and void payments. I can just imagine all the horrible things he's saying about me. I'm not like that. I was already dragged through all this 13 years ago. I love that music. When that music plays, you gotta save, first and foremost. Are you trying to commit insurance fraud? Why would I even consider doing that? Is that the kind of person you think I am? Mary. Well, no, but... if you don't start giving me absolute facts, what choice will I be left with? Naturally, I want you to believe me, Mr. Hyde. And I'd like to tell you everything, but part of it is very difficult for me. This already happened 13 years ago? 13 years ago, my brother, Mike Porter, died in a car accident. The brakes in his car failed and he plunged off a cliff. You think those brake lines were cut? After he died, I was truly alone. He was the closest person I had to a parent. The only other person who took care of me like he did was Peter. On the morning of Mike's funeral, Peter gave me an envelope he got from Mike. Inside, I found full details of an insurance premium Mike had taken out prior to his death. I was the sole beneficiary of this, but it was a small comfort for losing my brother. Peter told me that Mike wanted nothing more than for me to be happy and secure, and had made provisions that would enable me to live alone without having to worry. The ring you kindly found for me was a present from my beloved Mike. I see. The company that held Mike's policy began to pay out the premium. Before long, they stopped making the payments. Despite the police investigation concluding that his death was accidental, the insurance company believed otherwise and began their own investigation. Mr. Hyde, can you imagine the hardships I had to endure to claim Mike's money? To claim what was rightfully mine? Did they send someone to keep tabs on you then too? Yes, they did. But no matter how hard they tried, They couldn't find any proof that the car crash was anything other than an accident. Eventually, I received the entire payment. Of course, there were still plenty of people who doubted me, but I just had to endure it. During that trying time, it was only Mike's friend, Peter, who stood by me. And after the insurance claim had been paid out in full, Peter and I got married. So that's how it happened. I want nothing more than to forget that terrible time. But even when I feel I've finally put it all behind me, this happens. I can assure you, Mr. Hyde, fraud is something I would never, ever consider. You have to believe me. Don't listen to that rat Rex Foster. Mary. You have to make me believe. It just doesn't add up. How could two people close to you die in near identical ways? Moreover, they both left you substantial sums of money. But that's how it happened. They were both victims of similar accidents. And both cared for me enough to take out insurance policies that would ensure my security. I'm getting funny. They loved me and didn't want me to suffer, even after they had gone. Just like my brother, Peter also took out his policy without telling me. I honestly had no idea that I would receive a further payout after Peter died. Good thing I got a bottle of water here with me. What could be so difficult for you? If I tell you, will you hear me out? I wouldn't ask if I had no intention of listening. If there's something you've been holding back, now's the right time to let me know. There is something. As I suspected, time to talk. Yes, you're right. Half a year ago, after Peter had lost his life and the police called me, naturally, I cried and cried, but deep down, a part of me felt like I had been released. The only rational explanation was that I was feeling pleased to be apart from Peter. How did you find out about Peter's policy? It was after Peter died, and I moved in here. I was going through his stuff and came across the policy information documents. When I read the details, it all became clear and I froze. Peter had done exactly what Mike had done before him, taken out a policy in secret. Mr. Hyde, after Mike died 13 years ago, I was left to fend for myself. That is, until Peter started looking after me. We wed after the insurance money from Mike's policy was paid out. But I was still unsettled. Did he really love me? Or did he have another motive for marrying me? After all, I had just been awarded a very substantial amount of money. It was on my mind all the time, from the moment we moved in together until he died. After we got married, Peter began to use Mike's money to fund a business venture. At first, it went well, but as time went on, things took a turn for the worst. We started arguing about money a lot of the time. Each time we had an argument, I felt myself drifting away from him one step at a time. If I'd known from the start that he had his eyes on the money Mike left me, I would have distanced myself from him more. It would have been an easy decision. I would have realized that this was not the kind of person I needed in my life. The most ironic part of this whole story is, before I could discuss this with Peter, it was gone. The brakes failed while he was driving and his car plunged off a cliff. It was virtually identical to what befell my brother Mike. They had one thing in common. They both decided to take out secret insurance policies. And they both named me as the person to receive the money in the event of their deaths. That's why I'm being investigated for fraud. I've told them time and time again. I've done absolutely nothing wrong. So you say. I still got one more thing I want to ask you, Mary. It's about the incident that happened in the hotel 13 years ago. Why did you pretend you didn't know about it when we spoke yesterday? Especially seeing as your own husband, Peter Rivet, was the one who discovered the body of the murdered individual. Mr. Hyde! It's true, he was the person who discovered the body on the 4th floor. But he wasn't alone. Mike was there with him. They discovered the body together. I'm sorry I lied to you about this yesterday, Mr. Hyde. I just wasn't ready to talk about the subject. So what happened? After discovering the body, Mike wasn't the same. He began to act strangely. The next thing I knew, he had died in a car accident. I strongly believe that, if he never made the discovery, he'd still be alive today. Mr. Hyde? Now you know pretty much all there is to know about my past. Please don't make me go through it all again. Mary, don't worry about me. I'll be fine. I'm tougher than I look. Why do I have the feeling I've heard that somewhere before? Right, it was after Dad died and we had moved to New York. My mom said exactly the same thing to me. Try not to spend too much time thinking about it. Remember, we've only got a few more days in this building. If you find you need to get anything off your chest, give me a call. You'll listen to what I have to say? Yeah, sure. If you need to talk to someone. Mr. Hyde. Mary, I know this is tough, but can I ask you one more thing? Did either Peter or Mike ever have a conversation with you that mentioned Scarlet Star? Scarlet Star? Well, they mentioned the word star, I think. I see. If I recall correctly, it was while they were working. I distinctly remember that word being mentioned. My brother and husband used the word, along with others working in the hotel. Do you remember what kind of meaning it had? It was a sort of secret code, linked to the closing down party. What kind of party was it? Sorry, but that's something I can't help you with. That's all I can remember. That's a piece of the puzzle and a big one, actually. Okay, no problem. Anyway, I've got to go. Of course. Mary's husband and brother both seem to be connected to the incident 13 years ago. Also, the word star that was used by hotel staff then had some significance. Maybe that mysterious order sheet came from someone connected to the hotel too. I can't figure out who sent it yet, but I can send back a response. I reach into the envelope and take out the piece of paper inside. I now have an empty envelope. I fold the order sheet and slide it into my pocket. Right. To reply, I'm gonna need a penny. Just walk outside, you'll eventually find one on the ground. Really. Don't have one on me, though. You had $405 to pay for rent, but you don't have a penny? I better head back to my room and see what I can dig out. Seriously? It's a piggy bank shaped like Pinky Rabbit, or a Pinky Bank. My beloved Pinky Bank. There's a coin slot on the back of its head. I'm pretty sure there's some change inside. I need to get out the money in my piggy bank, but I prefer not to have to break it. Well, fortunately there's a solution to this. Maybe I can use this ruler. I take the small ruler out of the box. I ain't gonna lie, I like the puzzles in this game. They're quite fun to do. I sure hope this works. Hey up! Wow. Oh yeah. Hey, look at that. I think that's enough. I pick up a coin. Now I've got a penny. Still some coins left inside, though. Well, unless I want a bottle of soda pop or something from the vending machine, I don't really need anything else. I put the coin inside the envelope. Now I have an envelope with a coin in it. I just need to leave it in the 404 mailbox. It's always a good idea to save often. Jacoby Obi, what's up? Hello, what is this game about? Well, first things first. It's a sequel to Hotel Dusk Room 215, which also came out on the Nintendo DS 3 years before this game. The first one came out in 2007, I think. This game came out in 2010, but was never released to the US, only in Japan and Europe. Fortunately, my new Nintendo 2DS XL, which I use to capture gameplay and livestream it, DS games aren't region locked. And this game is in English too, so that's also a bonus. Basically, I'm here to uncover the mystery of what happened in this hotel 13 years ago. If you're not familiar with the first game, then I'll be honest, you might be a little lost here. Especially if you're jumping in now. Well, here they are, the mailboxes for the 4th floor. I need to place the envelope in the one for room 404. That being said, if you love visual novel games, then can't go wrong with this one. Very unique art style. On a handheld console, the sign on the mailbox has been sealed shut with tape. To put the response into the mailbox. Into this mailbox. So you also you also hold this game like a book, and to my knowledge, there's only like 3, maybe 4 video games that you can do that with. I like how the characters look like rough sketches. Yeah, that's a very, it's a memorable, art design. I'll say that much. Right, that's that sorted. Now to sit it out and wait for a reply to arrive about the Scarlet Star and the reward. That's the, general theme in this game, by the way. I'm basically tasked with finding out about the Scarlet Star that disappeared in this hotel 25 years ago. In this building, it used to be a hotel, but was converted into an apartment like 13 years ago. After I reach my room, I'm sorry, hang on. After I reach my room, I slump onto the sofa and mull over the order sheet. Hotel Cape West closed down 13 years ago, and there was a party before the closure, during which time a murder took place. The staff at the hotel had a secret code, star, that they used. What connection can this all have to the order sheet? 4 o'clock already. Suppose I better get going. Don't want to keep Dylan waiting. The 4th floor is off limits, and Dylan's gonna help me get access to it. Because the 4th floor still has remnants of when this place used to be a hotel. And you think it would be remodeled, but it wasn't, so obviously there's some secrets, hidden away in there. Dylan. Hello, Mr. Hyde. I've been waiting for you. Well, I'm here now. Let's get this show on the road. And one thing to note about Dylan, he claims he's the repair guy in this game, but he also seems to be such a brown nose, like always wanting information without really ever saying why. So naturally, you can't really trust this guy. You're on your own, I'm afraid. I'm not going in. You have to go on your own. I thought we agreed you'd show me around, you'd show me around in there. That's what you said earlier. No, I never said that. Maybe you weren't listening to me. I said that I'd let you in, not give you a guided tour. So you'll let me in? Yeah, I said I'd tell you how to get through the fire door. Got it. And if you know how to get through the door without setting off the alarm, you'll never have to deal with Mrs. Patras getting upset if you go in there. Music to my ears. Yeah, I mean, like, imagine going in here in, like, the dead of night. The first thing you need to do is disable the alarm. It's really simple. All you need to do is turn off the switches on the control panel. Sounds simple enough, and I've used the panel before. Right, I nearly forgot about that. Let's move on to the next part. You'll need to disable another panel before you can get the door open. There's another one? There's a lever in a box to the right of the door. If this is turned off, you'll be able to open the door. Do you follow? Yeah, I think I've got it. Also, please bear in mind that the knob on the reverse of the door is broken. So make sure you don't get stuck in there, because you won't be able to get back out. Great. There's a toolbox next to the door. If you look inside it, you'll find a doorstop. Once you've got the door open, I recommend using that to prevent it closing on you. That should be all you need to avoid getting trapped in there. Yeah, imagine how embarrassing it would be to be stuck in there. How would you get out? I'll make a point of remembering it. It's up on the 4th floor, so I seriously doubt getting out the window is the solution. I'll be on the hallway of the floor below, making sure that nobody tries to come up here. Good plan. Then, once 30 minutes have passed, I'll come and get you. I'll reset the lever you disabled afterward, and reactivate the alarm. One last thing. Try not to make any noise while you're in there. It just draws attention. You wouldn't want Mrs. Patras to come looking for you. You got that right. Okay, I'll leave you to it. Dylan makes his way towards the stairs and disappears out of sight. Even though I said he's untrustworthy, he's still willing to help me, because obviously I have the information that he wants. I've already played and beaten this game before. I mean, as you could tell from the save files. So, first things first, I gotta give this thing the old double tap. The switch for the alarm is in the on position. I'd better remember to disable this before trying the door. That should do it. No more annoying alarm sound. Ears should thank me. Wait a minute. Toolbox. Door stop. Well, there's the door stop Dylan told me about. There's a case on the wall with a glass cover. Inside the case is a fire bell and some kind of lever. This must be the other control panel Dylan was on about. Right, so Dylan said you just need to pull the lever inside the box. Let's see here. Whoa. The cover just came off. Yeah, it won't stay open. You know, there's actually two solutions to this. I'm actually doing it the easy way. The other way involves me going back to my room, getting a screwdriver, and opening that. The only downside is if that happens and I don't hold the glass pane with my other hand, it'll drop and shatter, and Mags will come up here and it'll give me a quick game over. You can actually do it with two fingers, so not with one touchscreen. So what I could do is just, let me see if I can do this right. To get that cover out of the way while I pull the lever. Damn. I'm gonna need a little stylus for this one. Yeah. I used my pinky for that. That should do it. Now the lever is turned off. If I recall correctly, Nintendo DS games don't support multi-touch function, and yet this game does. So how does that work? Now the fire door should open. It almost feels like I'm in a horror movie. So this is the 4th floor. Seems what I heard was right. It's still just like a hotel up here. Okay, time to have a look around. Well, not just yet. I mean, I gotta put that doorstep on. I placed the doorstep underneath the fire door. Yes! That should do it. I'm only going to be scratching the surface of this place for now. Huh? This room seems to be unlocked. Covered in dust, huh? It looks pretty fine in here to me. There's a distinctly moist a distinctly moist smell in here. So the hotel rooms have been like this for all these years. Huh. I think it's right here what I'm supposed to be looking for. Some large bundles of old newspapers are stacked up in the corner. Some parts look too damaged to read. They're really old newspapers. Moldy green. These look important. Oh, there's handprints. These are all sheets of Hotel Cape West's headed writing paper. What's this? Looks like an old card of some sort, but it's hard to tell because of all the dust. I can just about make out a star symbol underneath the layer of dust. It's also got Hotel Cape West written on it. What kind of card is this? I can't make out the letters clearly enough. And this is where the microphone part comes into play. I'm gonna have to get rid of all this dust. Oh. There's so much dust. Here we go. What are the controls? Purely touch controls. And the occasional use of the microphone, and even in a couple of instances, actually closing the console and opening it back up, so imagine trying to do that on an emulator. The microphone especially. The writing on the paper, the writing on the previously dust-covered card reads, "We would like to thank you for your patronage of Hotel Cape West over the years, and in an attempt to show our gratitude, hereby invite you to attend the final party to mark the official closure." Why does this make me think of Five Nights at Freddy's? If you are able to afford the time, we look forward to your attendance on December 10, 1967. Hotel Cape West manager, Michael McGrath. So it's a party invitation from 13 years ago. A party on the night of December 10, 1967. That left Kathy, the wife of the manager, dead. Oh god. Mr. Hyde! We're almost out of time. You should come out soon. Time's up already? I literally just walked into a room and then looked at a card. That could have taken me a minute. Just about. The longer you stay in here, the more likely we are to get caught by Mrs. Patras. You better come out right away. Yeah, I get the message. That's too bad, but better cut my losses for now. So, how was the 4th floor? Did you find anything good in there? Unfortunately not. Just a load of rooms filled with dust. Not exactly the result you were hoping for. Looks can be deceiving. If I tell him everything I did up there, this chat could go on for ages. Before I forget, even though you know how to get into the 4th floor now, try not to go up there when there are people around. You don't want to get found out by the other tenants, especially Mrs. Patras. Makes sense. Okay, I have to go now. Bye-bye, fat pro Jared. Dylan says his piece and leaves. He's got a point. Last thing I need is people priceless. Think I'll hold back for a bit before making a return trip. Jesus Christ, time flies. But yeah, so far so good. Oh yeah,